The One Chunk game mode has gained a massive following over the past couple of years, and the world of Gielinor has gained another, Hosidius. Jose has a specific goal in mind. It's not to farm pets, become a combat master champion, or even collect skill capes. Jose has his heart set on uniting the Great Kourend and completing a kingdom divided. Unlocking one chunk at a time, Jose Diaz will be the name remembered as the one who brought the Great Kourend together. What's up, you beautiful people? Welcome back. We've got a lot in store. In our last chunk, we were able to set ourselves up well for any incoming combat grinds as we obtained a rune scimitar and a rune kite shield. We've got a long way to go before we reach Chad status, but I'd say we're creeping up into Brad status with our current setup. Since our last episode ended with completing a chunk, we're going to begin by rolling a new chunk, so let's see what's on the table. The completion of the headguard chunk opens up 2 more chunks on its own. Further north, we unlock a little bit more of Port Piscarilius, though there isn't much to do here until we can get our hands on a pickaxe. Once we do, there's some mithril ore waiting here for us. Heading west from the tent allows us to enter Kingstown for the first time, and while there are only a few tasks, they are locked behind more combat, this time with a lesser demon. We spoke about the remaining chunks in the last video, but we'll still quickly touch on them here. There's a Port Piscarilius chunk to the northeast that contains a beefy cooking and fishing grind involving sharks, plus the beginning of the Queen of Thieves quest that we can't start. The Forthos dungeon lies ahead, waiting to trap us into a few different combat grinds in a hostile environment. The vinery still does nothing for us, and if we go south we will unlock the mining skill thanks to the sand crabs in the area. Let's get rolling. It's time to head south, and there's a decent amount of stuff crammed into this chunk. We've got a small task list that will allow us to experience almost everything it has to offer right away. First, we've got an achievement diary task to take down a sand crab. We'll also go after some goblins for a bronze square shield for our best in slot range shield, and there are also some bats to cross off the hit list that we've got going. While there is a bronze pickaxe spawn, we will be going after an iron pickaxe from said sand crabs. With the pickaxe, we need to grab 20 mining and collect some silver ore. This chunk shouldn't be too strenuous, but before we dive in, I just want to point out that we are still reciting our journey a bit, given that I wasn't planning on making this a series originally, so there's a little backtracking left to do, but enough yapping, let's get to work. This isn't a chunk task, but with the POH portal open now we are going to buy a house. Now, this doesn't actually do anything for us because our home portal still starts out in Remington. While once we get some magic levels we can teleport into our house, we still have to exit the house. Not to mention, we have no access to most of the tools and resources needed to gain the 25 construction required to move our house to Hosidius, but one day this will be waiting for us. We're going to start the chunk progress by heading straight for the sand crabs. There's no need to spend any extended amount of time here at the moment, but I'm sure that we'll be back here in some capacity in the future. It didn't take long to get the iron pickaxe, as we got our best in slot mining equipment for the foreseeable future in just 56 kills. With the pickaxe taken care of, it's time we head up to the goblins that call this chunk home. We have to take care of this giant bat as a slaughter task, but we're after the bronze square shield here. Though it likely isn't going to get any real use, it will serve as our best in slot range shield. Kills later and we would see the bronze square shield, the final piece to this chunk. Unfortunately, the monks at the nearby camp don't drop any robes, otherwise we'd be going after those as well, for sure. Now it's time to get into the mining portion of this chunk. I'm hesitant to even call this a grind, because 20 mining won't take much time at all, and since we just unlocked a new skill, mining, for a brief moment, will actually be enjoyable. After a couple hundred rocks, 20 mining was reached, and we even got 26 mining when recording this footage. Never mind the break in immersion, with the silver ore now mined, we have officially knocked out all of our tasks here. Chunk complete. Our second roll of the video presents us with an easy chunk. If we had any means of fishing, we would have unlocked a fishing spot, though that's not on the table right now. Without any way of said fishing, we are left to enjoy the second bank available to us, though we're not permitted to use the ranges here in the building. Side note, we are so spoiled here as a chunk locked account to have come across 2 bank chests already when some accounts go so long without any bank chests, so it's rough and I'm thankful for it. But in addition, we'll have to slaughter a few defenseless animals, a rabbit, a fox, and a duck. Thankfully, I can reflect any of the moral reservations I have here and just paint Jose as the monster behind the meaningless slaying of these little guys. Without much resistance, we've completed another chunk. Now that we've made some progress into the board, let's take a look at what new chunks have become available since we last checked. Completing the sand crab chunk opens up more of the southern shoreline. If we go west, we'll have uncovered a 3rd bank chest along with a diary task. Going east will give us the tithe farm. The completion of the last chunk only features the Hosidius mess hall, where we'll continue to train our cooking level. Other than that, the board hasn't changed, and it's time to move on to the next chunk. Our introduction into Kingstown begins in our next chunk, as we have rolled just west of the head guard and his goons. Like mentioned earlier, all of our tasks will revolve around the lesser demon found in one of the homes. Here we are going to collect a rune medhelm, a mithril chain body, and a mithril square shield, all coming at a rate of 1 in 128, and all serving as best in slot gear, though the shield only acts as best in slot ranged. As we take our first steps into the new city, Jose is able to observe some of the turmoil going on within the Great Kourend, with citizens of each locale showing unrest and foreshadowing our true calling. We make our way into the house with the Lesser Demon. The Lesser Demon was a welcome grind. A couple serviceable upgrades in armor with the Rune Medhelm and Mithril Chain Body, and the demon we're facing is easier to take down than the head guard. The hits will come in more frequently, and the kills should go by much faster. Shouldn't take too long, right? The kills were coming in much faster than in our last combat obstacle. It's likely a product of our increased combat stats gained previously, but this demon just didn't stack up like the head guard did. He really didn't stand any kind of chance of killing. Damn it. As I was saying, the KC was beginning to stack up, and we came across our first gear upgrade, and likely the best, when the Rune Medhelm was dropped after kill 94. This extra dash of color looks great with the weaponry we've got, and the motivation has just been bolstered. No way we spend more than 200 kills here. So we spent more than 200 kills here, and wouldn't come across any of the items we're after for quite a while. The Lesser Demon's max hit is 8, and the head guard's max hit was 10. Nothing crazy, but it feels like a massive difference. Thanks to our bolstered stats and armor, we were able to get a good amount of kills per trip without having to do much prayer flicking, which in turn was good for the prayer XP gains as well. At 25 XP per scatter, the Vile Ashes were incredibly refreshing compared to our previous means of prayer training. After kill 208, we eventually came across our next item, the Mithril Square Shield, though this was going to have a comfortable spot in the bank for the time being, but it still feels good to knock off a task on the list. With only one more item left to go, I could taste the sweet purple tint of the chainmail that was waiting for me. And don't say it's blue, it's purple. Our next notable drop would come at kill 243, as we got 5 rune javelins, a pretty mundane drop. However, the drop rate for this javelin sits at 1 in 4,096 outside of a slayer task. The ridiculous RNG at play here when all I need is a 1 in 128 drop to get me out of here, it feels like a personal attack. It's cool and all, don't get me wrong, but just not very useful for us. And maybe I'm overreacting with the personal attack thing. I'll admit, I may have been exaggerating there. It's not like this game is actively taunting me or anything. Okay, you have got to be good. Okay, this one is also my fault for not updating the ground item indicator, but brother, if this isn't a sign of taunting, I couldn't tell you what is. There was some solace though, as we would shortly come across 45 prayer not long after. The KC has been piling up and we're not done, but we've got some business to tend to in the marketplace. Farming level, by the way. We took a small detour to commit to the next thieving level and collect some more seeds as our stock was getting a little low. The master farmer wasn't putting up with my shit here, which is admirable, because you'd think if he was cornered and confronted by someone armed like this, he'd give up everything he had. But alas, 52 thieving was achieved, and the next stop was more thieving, stocking up on some quick food before we head right back to the Lesser Demon, with hopes that our drop is coming soon. Though before we would leave, we'd lend a helping hand to a fellow gamer. Yeah, he seems really grateful. Back to the Lesser Demon grind. Editor, roll the montage. Oh, alright, that's me. Once we hit base 60 on all of our melee skills, I stuck with defense throughout, as I figured that would be the most cost effective in terms of food, but also considering plenty of lazy kills. 62 defense came accompanied by 75 overall combat, but no chainmail in sight. After a number of underwhelming random events, we are finally blessed with a genie in our presence. Well, assuming I don't trap him. Okay, with the lamp secure, we can gain some Slayer XP. I've been lamping Slayer, but not sure if I should put it into something else like agility given the level requirement for the Kingdom Divided quest and some of the sub-quests, but let me know what you think in the comments. It sure would help me out. Maybe even give the video a like or something, I don't know. We'd become extremely familiar with the Lesser Demon by now, and at kill number 492, we finally received the Mithril Chainmail. With the final task on our list being completed, that, folks, is a chunk complete. We're all caught up and no longer backtracking, so before rolling the next chunk, let me show you what our bank is looking like. The Lesser Demon grind as well as the organized crime gave us a small stack of weapons we can sell for some extra gold, and our herb stack is starting to take shape. The demon also gave us a decent amount of chaos and death runes, and we've got a couple 100k worth of planks. We're sitting at a total level of 505, with the melee stats looking alright, and we've got a decent start on farming as well. Now it's time for the next chunk roll, and while there are definitely some easy chunks that we can roll, there are still a few daunting rolls, as the Forthos dungeon is real close, and a shark-sized fishing and cooking grind will be waiting for us as we gain more access to Port Piscarilius. Thanks to the ground gained in Kingstown, we can potentially step foot into Arceuus for the first time, where a rune shop will become available and really open up the magic skill. And of course, going west of the Lesser Demon brings us right at the doorstep of the Kourend castle, and that means the catacombs as well. Even more monsters, though our lack of Slayer will keep quite a few of them at bay for a while. The Tithe Farm will contain its own grind, though we may be making our own little twist on things here. A Mithril Rockin', a Servery Pineapple Pizza await us and a few other chunks, though those are both pretty manageable grinds. Let's see what's in store. Arceuus it is. It's time to step foot into another city. I think it's fitting to be rocking the wizard hat as I enter. I feel like it'll score Jose some brownie points with the locals and make him seem like not such an outsider. This general store is going to be big for us, but right now, I'm on a mission. Philomena is going to get us hooked up with some magic staves. This will cross off the only best in slot task that we have here, and while we could buy any of them to cross off the task, we're going to buy an air staff and a fire staff as well to get us started. And even though this is only one of 2 tasks that we have in this chunk, we aren't rolling a new chunk anytime soon. The reason we won't be rolling a new chunk in the immediate future is the magic grind that has now been placed upon us. 66 magic will be required to cast the vulnerability spell and make use of the soul runes that are available here. So what does this mean for us? Likely back to the Lesser Demon, if I'm being honest. But the Vile Ash drop should bolster our prayer in the meantime, as well as continue to provide some finances to fund the runes needed for this grind. We quickly approach a cadaver. We'd offer to help, but we don't meet the requirements for the Ascent of Arceuus quest, which are the completion of the Client of Kourend and level 12 Hunter. So we have some work to do to keep in mind. It's worth mentioning that in my backtracking in the last episode, I forgot to mention that we did in fact begin the Client of Kourend quest when we accessed the charter docks in Port Piscarilius, though it's going to be quite some time before we can further any of the progress in that one. This chunk provides 2 different rune shops, despite one technically considered as a general store. It was worth checking out, and at least in the case of mined rune packs, Theria, the dedicated rune shop, actually has better prices. We snagged 1,000 mine runes, and with nothing else left for us in this chunk at the moment, it's time to begin the grind to 66 magic. Given my low magic level, I figured it'd be best to get some of the early levels knocked out back at the sand crabs, and as you can see, we picked up another black cape to match the black hat. Rather dapper, I'd say. However, I think this is a good stopping point for the video. Jose has got some magic XP to dig his teeth into, and we're getting right into it. Thanks for watching. Well, hello. I appreciate you stopping by, but I'm trying to do an outro here. I guess we're gonna end the video with 7 Slayer. Let's go. Thanks for watching, guys. Take it easy.